Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Recently, Owlcat dropped the last story DLC for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, Dance of Mask, and with it came several new archetypes. Many of you have reached out saying that you would love to see more builds for this game, especially in light of the new classes that are available, so I figured, why not? And it's a perfect opportunity for me to pull in a couple of the characters that have been announced with the new Dragon Age game. Many of you know I'm a huge fan of Dragon Age, so why not do a little crossover content? Today we're going to do a build for Davrin. He's a Grey Warden who's going to be in the new Dragon Age Veilguard game, and he has a little small Griffin that travels with him. Whether or not that Griffin grows to full size by the end of the game is definitely something I'm looking forward to checking out. So I figured, hey, why not go ahead and take advantage of the new Griffin-based class that has been released with Dance of Mask and see whether or not we can make something good out of it. Let's dive in. So you want to scroll all the way down to Ranger, and then under there you'll see Sable Company Marine. Big thing about this class is that it's automatically going to give you a hippogriff, which is absolutely one of the best pets in the game. You'll see when we get into the combat section. Now we're going to cheat a little bit here. Really, Davrin is an elf, and that's what we should select, but half elf works significantly better for this build. There are half elves in Dragon Age, but they always look very human. So for example, Alistair is a half elf, but we're going to go ahead and cheat a little bit and select it anyway. We don't care about the skill bonuses that you could potentially get with half elf, so instead we'll go for dual heritage. Pick up a couple of extra points in will saving throws, which in my opinion works perfectly for a Grey Warden. Under background selection, we'll go ahead and go with Oblate and Acolyte. That's going to allow us to use Wisdom instead of Charisma for our persuasion checks. Now, when it comes to ability points, we're going to put 20 in Strength. Strength is obviously what he's going to depend on the most. We're going to put a couple of points in Constitution since he is a frontline fighter. We'll put a couple of points in Intelligence, but then we're going to completely dump Charisma. That serves no purpose for us. And instead, we'll bring Wisdom up to 14. By the way, as with all of my Pathfinder builds, I will have a sheet linked in the description below, so you'll be able to see all this information clearly laid out. All right, now we're going to get 5 skill points for level 1, and then it's going to switch off. So there'll be 4 points at level 2, then 5 again at level 3, etc., etc. For this first level, we'll take Persuasion, Perception, Lore Religion, Lore Nature, and we'll pick up Athletics. When you only have 4 skill points, I leave off Lore Religion. I feel like it's the one that matches least with him, and keep the rest. All right, for your first feat, let's go ahead and go Weapon Focus. I'm going to go with Longsword in anticipation of using Radiance with this character, but obviously you can pick whatever one-handed weapon that you would like. And then we're going to automatically get the Hippogriff on level 1. Couple of really cool things about this pet. It's got a flying attack that has the heavy landing property. So basically, not only can you fly right in the middle of a group of enemies, but then you're going to attempt to trip all of them for free, which is really, really freaking cool. And then at level 7, it also is automatically going to get Pounce, which allows it to do a full attack when charging. Very important and very, very cool. For deity, we're going to choose Green Faith, which leans a little bit more into him being a daily shelf. Obviously, the character customization isn't going to allow you to get his face exactly right, but I chose number 6 for the skin type, number 2 for the face, number 7 for his war paint, and then 7 again for the color of his war paint. His actual tattoos look much darker than this, but it doesn't look clear on his face when you select a dark color, so I just decided to make it lighter anyway. Obviously, you can go with whatever you like here. All right, now that we've finished level 1, let's go ahead and go through the rest of the build. I'm going to go through the build here in this screen because I feel like most of you have probably already played Wrath of the Righteous. You have an understanding of the game, so you don't need me to go through the levels one by one. But if that's not the case and you all would prefer I go through these options one by one as I'm leveling up, just let me know and I'll definitely go back to that style of video. So starting from level 2, you're going to get 5 Ranger feats, and we specifically go with 2 weapon fighting because we want to use both a sword and a shield. So the first one we're going to select is 2 weapon fighting, which is going to lessen the penalty for that particular playstyle. And then at level 3, we're going to take Shield Bash, which is going to allow us to attack with light or heavy shield. So you always want to keep a heavy shield in his hand. And then at level 5, we're going to go ahead and take Improved Initiative. At level 6, you're going to get another combat style feat, and we'll take Shield Master, which ensures we do not suffer penalties when attacking with a shield. At level 7, of course, we're going to take Outflank. All melee combatants would have this. It's going to increase the attack roll bonus you get when flanking enemies. And then at level 9, we're going to take Improved Critical for our long sword. Definitely is going to increase our damage. And then for our next combat style feat, you're going to go ahead and take Improved Two-Weapon Fighting, which is going to give you another attack with your shield, although it will have a -5 penalty. By the way, once again, I think I mentioned this earlier, there will be a spreadsheet linked in the description that lays out everything that I'm walking through here. At level 11, we finally take Power Attack. Usually for a melee build, you want to take Power Attack earlier, but I felt like because we're using 2 weapons, because you already have the attack penalties for using a shield, I don't think you can absorb the attack penalty when you're using Power Attack. So by now we've got some extra things that kind of leveled everything out, and so it makes sense to have Power Attack here. You might decide that you want to take it a little bit earlier. At level 13, we'll take Dazzling Display. We'll never use it, but it does unlock Shattered Defenses, which is going to allow us to make enemies flat-footed if we attack them while they are shaken or frightened. This is very, very important, again, for any melee build. You're going to want to have a different party member who handles shaking or frightening enemies so that you can take advantage of that. Flat-footed enemies lose their dexterity bonus to AC, and they're susceptible to sneak attack damage. We could have tried to make this character the one who shakes or frightens enemies because he does have very high persuasion, but I felt like he doesn't quite have enough feats in order to make that really work. Right before you take this, you will get another combat style feat. It'll be Bash and Finish, allowing you, whenever you score a critical hit, to automatically do a free attack with your shield. Very, very nice. Next up, I took Dreadful Carnage here, but actually what you want to take is Double Slice. I could not do that because I forgot to put on a belt that would increase dexterity up to 15. So basically, whenever you get +5 or +6 belts, you want to go ahead and throw one on when you're about to take a feat, and then you can pick up Double Slice, which will allow your strength modifier to count on offhand attacks. The sooner you can get that, the better. It's going to make your shield attack significantly more powerful. Very, very nice. Next up for the combat style feats, and actually your last one, is Greater Two-Weapon Fighting, which is going to give you a 3rd attack with your shield, although it will be at a -10 penalty. So a lot of times you won't hit with this, but it's still not bad to have. The last feat I picked up was Hammer the Gap, but honestly, you can put anything here. Shake It Off is nice to give you some additional protection for your saving throws, you know, whatever you particularly prefer. And then on top of all these mechanics, you're also going to be able to pick favorite enemies while you're leveled up. So these are enemies who, when you face them, you're going to get additional attack and damage rolls. Now, the most plentiful enemy in the game by far is demons. Unfortunately, demons is split up into 3 groups, so you're just going to want to cycle through all 3 groups. So I start with Demons of Magic, then I take Demons of Slaughter and pick up Demons of Magic again. Then I pick up Demons of Strength and pick up Demons of Slaughter again. And then finally here, you can select whatever you want. I just picked Fae, and then I picked up Demons of Strength again. And then once again, what you pick here doesn't matter. I picked humans, and I took another selection of Demons of Magic. But you could have put anything you wanted in basically these last 3 slots. Now, you're also going to be able to level up a Griffin. It's very, very important that your Griffin is sturdy, because you might have noticed I took very little defensive feats for Davrin. So he's going to be mounted on Asan at all times, and if Asan goes down, Davrin is going to go down shortly afterwards. So I made Asan an aggressor. I could have probably chose Bully, but It gets such a large CMB bonus when it's using flying attack that I didn't see that as necessary. And by choosing aggressor, we're going to automatically get power attack, which is very, very useful for any melee build. And he's also automatically going to get a bonus on attack and damage rolls when successfully attacking an enemy for the first time. As far as the feats that I chose, I like going through the monk round of feats when it comes to pets. So we're going to start with dodge, then I'll go into a weapon focused bite. He also has a claw attack that he sometimes uses, but he always starts with bite, and so I felt like it makes the most sense to focus on that one. You also take improved unarmed strike. Of course, we don't use this, but it allows us to get crane style, which allows us, when we're fighting defensively, to only take a -2 penalty on attack rolls instead of the usual -4 penalty, and you're going to gain an additional +1 dodge bonus to AC. You can see that my AC is 68. Very, very respectable. It's not invincible by any means, but 95% of enemies are not going to be able to get through 68 armor class, and on top of that, we're playing as Angel. Angel gets a ton of incredible buffs that are going to provide concealment and other defensive booms. So all in all, it's not going to be difficult to keep your Griffin standing upward. And then at level 9, we take an outflank. In hindsight, I'd probably switch these two. Most characters take an outflank at 7, and so you would benefit from that. And then just go ahead and take Crane Style at 9. At 11, we can improve critical bite. No question there. Crane Wing is going to give you some additional dodge bonus to AC as well, but specifically against melee attacks, so you don't see it represented here. But when you add everything together, his real AC is probably more so like mid-70s. And then we have Crane Repulse. You take only a -1 penalty on attack rolls for fighting defensively, and whenever you lose a dodge bonus for Crane Wing because an attack missed you by 4 or less, the enemy provokes an attack of opportunity. Very, very nice once again. And of course, we take Dazzling Display along with Shattered Defenses to again help make enemies flat-footed against Hassan's attacks. As far as the items for Hassan, we gave him an Amulet Minor Fist, which provides a +5 enhancement bonus for his attacks. Gave him a +6 belt for his strength, dexterity, and constitution. Gave him Unholy Knee Pads, which deal an extra 2d6 unholy damage on his attacks with natural weapons. Obviously, if I had done a full Angel run, I would have figured out better knee pads, but I just threw on what I had. Helmet that gives him +2 insight bonus to AC and +5 bonus on saving throws against spells from the Illusion School. Very nice. +5 resistance cloak, and he got bracers of +8, which obviously does a lot to help increase his AC. For Davrin, he's got the necklace that adds +5 natural armor enhancement and a +2 to his highest ability score, which of course is strength. Chainmail of Camaraderie, which is going to increase his outflank bonus. Very nice. Rolls of Unspeakable Truth, which add a +2 circumstance bonus to wisdom. And when he combines it with the glasses he's wearing, he automatically has a fear aura around him. Very, very nice. Display of Power gives him a +6 bonus to strength and imposes a -2 penalty on will saving throws for all enemies around him. He's got the embroidered gloves, which provide a +3 luck bonus to AC and a +3 luck bonus on all of his saving throws. The boots allow his neglected skill bonus to be added to the damage roll on a successful charge attack. Now, you don't actually use this because all of the charges are done by the Griffin, not by him, as you'll see in a bit. So unfortunately, this doesn't really help us, but I threw it on anyway. For the helmet, it gives a +6 to all of his mental scores. For the glasses, it gives him a +2 bonus on initiative rolls. Increasing his initiative, I didn't mention this, but it's very important because, again, he has very low dexterity. So anything you could do to give him some more initiative, definitely, that is helpful. And it gives him a +2 confidence bonus to intelligence, which doesn't really do anything. He's got a +5 bonus on his cloak, and he deals 2d8 fire damage every turn to all enemies within a 10-foot range. He's got the summon ring, which is going to add a +2 bonus to weapon damage rolls and a +2 bonus on saving throws against chaotic creatures. This Sacred Touch ring, I just pulled it from CeeLo, but actually it really helps when you're doing touch damage or touch spells. We don't do that, so I probably will switch out with another ring for this. And then finally, the Braces of Abrupt Onslaught add a 1d6 bludgeoning damage when he deals sneak attack. He has the ability to put Sense Vitals on himself. so he can deal sneak attack damage, and this can be triggered. And then finally, looking at the mythic path, I chose Close to the Heavens because of course we're angel. First slot, we took Ever Ready. Again, he has low dexterity, which means he doesn't get more attacks of opportunity. So Ever Ready is going to help make up for that. At Mythic level 2, we took 2-weapon fighting Mythic. It's going to help to ensure that his attacks actually connect. At level 3, you actually choose Angel, so you're going to get the Mythic spellbook, but you can't combine it, so progression is going to be very slow. And then he's also going to get Sword of Heaven, which is going to add holy damage onto his weapon attacks when it's activated. Very, very nice. None of the enemies, I believe, are resistant to holy damage. And then he also gets a Halo, which is going to provide a bonus to AC and saving throws against attacks made or effects created by evil creatures. All of that is awesome. And for your mythic ability, you're going to go ahead and select Mythic Beast, which is going to increase the strength, dexterity, and constitution for your Griffin. At level 4, you're going to choose Everlasting Flame for your sword, which is going to make it last significantly longer. And then you're going to take Improved Critical Mythic for your long sword. At level 5, you're going to take Blinding Light, which is going to blind enemies who attack you. And you'll take Inspirational Leader, which will provide an initiative and saving throw bonus for your entire team. Very, very nice. And it scales with your mythic level. At level 6, you're going to take Grand Blessing, which is going to cause the damage and healing from your Sword of Heaven to now be maximized. And you'll take Power Attack Mythic, which is going to significantly increase the amount of damage you deal with Power Attack. And you're going to get Sword of Holy Damage, which transforms all of the damage dealt by you to holy damage whenever Sword of Heaven is activated. Again, that is extremely useful. At Mythic level 7, you'll take Piercing Rays, which reduces the spell resistance and saving throws of all enemies within a 50-foot area automatically. All you got to do is stand there. And you'll also pick up Leading Strike, which allows other allies to deal more damage towards enemies that you have hit first. At level 8, you'll take Speed of Light, which allows the Sword of Heaven to automatically give you haste, and it's going to give you 2 additional attacks, making you even more brutal in melee combat. And you're going to get Improved Initiative, which makes it even more likely you'll be able to attack earlier in combat. And then finally, you're going to pick up Burning Bright for your Halo, which will automatically deal holy damage to all enemies within a 50-foot area every single round. All you have to do is stand there. Very nice. And for your final mythic ability, you'll take Unrelenting Assault, which is going to steadily give you more melee damage as you continuously attack enemies. All right, now that you've went through all that, let's go ahead and get into a combat example. You see that I'm surrounded by enemies right now. I could go ahead and just attack them, but I figure I might as well go ahead and show you the charge. Because it's a flying attack and it is treated as a charge, even though we're surrounded by enemies, we can just lift up and go ahead and attack the exact enemy we want to, which is obviously extremely useful. So we'll go ahead and do that and actually turn on Fight Defensively, and we'll turn on Flying Attack, and we'll use it to go over to this Ash Giant. Oh, this is a good time to mention the only weakness of this build, what I kind of don't like is, of course, you're going to want to charge with Flying Attack all the time. You have to manually select the Griffin in order to do that. Flying Attack is not available on your hotbar. So of course, when you're mounted, usually every turn, it's going to start on you. But if you see an opportunity to charge, you'll need to manually switch over to the Griffin and then select this. But again, a lot of times you're not going to want to charge. Usually in a situation like this, I would just go ahead and attack the enemies. I'm only charging right now just to show you all it. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So he's going to fly up, land down, kill that first enemy, and kill the spider. Now, you'll notice that some of them went down, right? As in fell down before they even died. So first he's going to use the Flying Attack. It's automatically going to trigger Heavy Landing, which is going to do a free trip combat maneuver on all enemies within 5 feet. And this combat maneuver bonus is going to get a buff from Flying Attack equal to, I believe, half the character's level. So if you look here, it's successful, and you see it gets a +9 to CMB from Flying Attack. The vast majority of enemies in the game are going to be successfully tripped by this, even without taking additional feats to buff it, which is pretty freaking insane. And then, as you can see, uses the combat maneuver against everybody, attacks the Ash Giant, dealt 51 damage to the Ash Giant, and then Davrin gets in the mix with Radiance. He hit him with just a regular hit. He did 88 damage. Oh, I'm sorry. By the way, we should look at my buffs. I've got the usual standard buffs, of course, all of the defensive ones that we take for Angel. I got Heroic Invocation and Mind Blank from Ember. Owl's Wisdom, I think, came from Land. Stone Skin came from Woljif. I've got Sword of Heaven. And then the rest of these are just buffs that the Angel automatically places on you when you use Ward of Weakness or the, I forgot, what is the name of the really crazy buff that Angel is able to give you when you use Fortress of the Faithful. So Fortress of the Faithful just gives Aegis of the Faithful, Shield of Faith, protection from arrows, displacement and resist fire, cold, electricity, acid, and sonic. 1 minute per caster level. Obviously, Angel is nothing to play with. All right, so again, dealt 88 damage just from a regular hit. And then he also is going to hit with his spiked heavy shield, dealing 71 damage to the Ash Giant. And then the Ash Giant dies. And then Asan is going to move over to the Ash Giant, deal another 55 damage. And then we're going to hit again with Radiance, going to hit with 92 damage. He's going to attack it again with the Griffin. Griffin's going to deal 99 damage. Ash Giant dies. And then we repeat the same thing for the Spider. I'm receiving damage because of the type of shield that I'm using. In fact, that my sword is Radiance, of course, and then my shield is Painful Remorse, which deals a little bit of damage to me, but also deals extra damage when I use it as a shield bash. Of course, I didn't go through the game with a shield build, so there's probably a much better shield that I could be using, but this will do in a pinch. And we dealt more damage with Radiance, and then finally obliterated it with the Griffin. So you can already see, oh, and I am playing on core. So you can see how this is very, very effective, and so effective the Ash Giant is shooken up. All right, now it's back to my turn. You can see it tried to hit me with the club, but it missed. And you can see that my actual armor class when he's trying to attack me is 81. Very, very respectable. Again, the vast majority of enemies not making their way through that. And even if they could, I've got a 50% concealment chance. Of course, Angel is absolutely fantastic. This time we won't go ahead and charge. We'll just do a regular attack since the enemy is right in front of us. And he dies pretty much almost immediately. So it started with Asan doing a bite attack. And then Asan was able to deal 61 damage. And then Davrin hit with Radiance and he was able to critically hit. And then that dealt 225 damage. That's going to put a huge dent in the vast majority of enemies in this game. And then the enemy died. So I think by looking at that, you can see this is a very, very effective shield and board build. And it's just super cool. I mean, look at this damn Griffin. You're on top of a massive winged Griffin playing as a Grey Warden. I mean, how much better could life be? So let me know down in the comments what you think of this build. If you have any feedback, things that you felt could have been better. If there are specific builds that you want to see for the new archetypes that have been released, by all means, just let me know. I'll probably do a few more, and I'll probably also go through all the builds that I'll use for our Let's Play, which it appears is going to be Devil based upon where the polls are sitting right now. Anyway, hope all of you enjoyed this video. Take care.